Next are vitamin D3 and probiotics. This is a small supplement that packs a very powerful punch. As you can see by the name, it has both vitamin D3 and probiotics. So with both of these, you're going to be promoting a healthy immune and digestive system. So again, that is vitamin D3 and probiotics.
Hi, I'm Dr. Allison Kloss. I'm one of the adjusting doctors here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. I wanted to take this time to share with you my chiropractic story and what got me into being a chiropractor. When I was 15 years old, I suffered from severe migraines, digestive problems, as well as severe low back pain. I went through the medical system. I had all sorts of tests, MRIs, CT scans, bone scans. No one could really figure out where my pain was coming from and what was wrong. And I even the last solution was exploratory surgery. Fortunately, I'm very grateful my mother did not choose that option. And it wasn't at that point until we had a really close friend reach out and said, "Have you tried a structural chiropractor?" And of course, we came from a very small town and we didn't understand chiropractic, didn't know about it, but we knew this was our last chance before having to go through exploratory surgery or for me to have to be on pain meds for my entire life, as well as just learning to live with the aches and pains that I was going through. I missed school so much that they threatened to hold me back a year. I just couldn't sit for long periods of time. So we decided to check out the chiropractor in our hometown. After 6 adjustments, I was able to start feeling my legs again. My pain went away. After 6 months, I no longer had any issues. I was able to play sports like I've always done, and that's when I decided that I wanted to be a chiropractor for the rest of my life. I was going through school, I was going through the medical route, I wanted to be a medical doctor, and at that point I decided I wanted to change to be a chiropractor because it honestly changed my life and it's changed how I viewed my health. I grew up in a wholesome family where we looked at nutrition, where my dad had a garden, and after going through the chiropractor, we fully understood what it meant for your spine to be in alignment and what happens when it's not. And it wasn't until that chiropractor, my first chiropractor, sat me down, he showed me my x-rays, and he showed exactly how he was going to correct it and what I needed to do as well to help maintain that. And so from that point on, I continued to get adjusted throughout high school, throughout undergrad, and that's when after that I went to chiropractic school. And it changed my life, and to this day I'm very grateful for that friend that reached out to my mother, and very grateful for that chiropractor who took his time to sit down away from his family to show my family what they can do for me and to how they could help me. I wanted to take just a few seconds to share with you my family's philosophy on health and how we view it. Whenever we are looking at our health, we are looking at it as a prevention viewpoint, not as a reaction. We always look to our bodies first on the inside versus the outside approach, especially when it comes to our nutrition. We're always putting the best quality and more whole foods into our bodies. We look at the amount of sleep, make sure that is always where it needs to be. More importantly, we're always looking at the nervous system. So if there's an ache or pain or sickness, we always look to the spine, and we make sure that that is free of interference, allowing our body to appropriately fight off what it needs to.
I've had experience with chiropractic in the past as a competitive gymnast as well as from an accident. However, I didn't really realize just how much some places offer until I became a chiropractic assistant at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Our doctors spend time getting to know each patient. They take in-house x-rays, digital x-rays. They have many different adjusting techniques for patients of all ages, and they have exercises for patients both before and after each adjustment.
Happy Monday! So today
we're going to make those into pizzas.
Today we were doing zucchini bruschetta, and it's my girls aren't the biggest fan of the bruschetta part, so we are going to do we're just going to do half of the bruschetta, and then we're going to make the rest of them like little pizzas. No. You eat this later. So I love this recipe. It's super easy, and it's great for little parties or appetizers, just to get a nice little side veggie dish in there. Okay, so zucchini bruschetta. I wasn't always the biggest fan of bruschetta for whatever reason, but so this is my version that I like. So I don't know if it's really like bruschetta, but I think it looks like bruschetta, and it's gluten-free, grain-free. It's just the zucchini is acting instead of the baguette bread. Okay, listen, if you eat all that, we're not going to have any. So just to kind of help speed up the time a little bit, no, just wait. She is a goat cheese fiend. I went ahead and cooked the zucchini. I cooked it for, okay, sure. Oh, getting water. So I cooked the zucchini ahead of time. That way, all we're doing is just putting the tomato base together, and then we'll put it on top of the zucchini, all ready to go. Before I forget, so next week I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. Maybe share a little bit why I do this, kind of give my background, maybe my health journey, just to kind of share with you what I've been through, where I'm at, and why I do this. I know for me, it's helpful to have resources and people out there that are encouraging and that want to help me get better. So that's why I do this. That's why I made a cookbook. It's just another resource to help people achieve and to make better improvements with their health journey. And I'm not perfect, but I know every day I'm trying to learn something new. So with that being said, I would like to encourage you guys to write in the comments any questions or any topics that you might want me to cover next week, so that way, we can stay focused, and hopefully I can answer as many things as possible, or as many questions that you all might have. I might go ahead and still make like a drink or a smoothie just to walk you through it, and then we'll just kind of sit down and have a nice little chit chat and hopefully answer a lot of people's health journey questions so you can be a better you. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. So in my cookbook, it does say to dice Roma tomatoes. I was looking through what I was going to make, and I really wanted to make this, but I didn't have Roma tomatoes, so that's fine. I had a can of organic diced tomatoes in my cupboard, so we're going to use this instead. And that's probably another thing that I love about my cookbook, is there's a lot of times I don't have one specific ingredient in the recipe, but it's very versatile, and you can easily substitute maybe things that you do have on hand. So We have diced tomatoes, and then we'll put some garlic. Also, I usually have fresh garlic cloves, but I don't today. Sometimes I forget about garlic and like the garlic cloves and the ginger roots. They get stuck in a shelf or a drawer somewhere, and then months later they're all smushy and all forgotten about. So that's why I always try and have some minced garlic and ginger just in case. And then I have some fresh basil leaves that I had a patient of mine, he brought in for me. Super excited about that. There's just something about fresh basil leaves just right off the plant that gives it a better taste. And then we'll do some salt and pepper. And then some balsamic vinegar. Just a teaspoon of that. And then you're just going to mix this together. And I mean, I would taste it, adjust according to what you want. Very good. And then I have some goat cheese, the soft goat cheese that I'm going to use. But you can use, you can use a slice and just cut it into quarters of regular organic grass-fed cheese or whatever cheese that you want to use. So I'm going to slide my zucchini over here. Don't mind my cracked pan here. So for this, you're just, and I probably did cook the zucchini a little bit extra because they're a little bit soggier, but you want them to have a firm texture because you're lifting up the bruschetta and eating it. So, but mine's a little bit softer, which is fine. You can still use a fork, or you can still just squeeze it together like a taco. All right, so I'm just going to put some of the tomato base or the tomato mixture on here. You're back. This is hot. Okay, hey, this is hot. You want scarlet, and like I said, we're gonna also do some. I've got shredded goat cheese and pepperoni, the Applegate turkey pepperoni slices that we'll put on some of the other ones. My girls had pizza last night and they're still in a pizza mood. So, I mean, who's not in a pizza mood? Every day should be pizza mood. Okay, hey, are you eating that? No more. It's hot, very hot. Okay. All right, Scarlett, what you can do, can you help me? Yeah? Okay, remember this is hot. So I'm gonna have you put some shredded cheese on top of the zucchini, okay? Just like that, but don't touch the pan. All right, so I'm gonna have her, I guess we could put pizza sauce on this, but that's all right. There's cheese on it, there's pepperoni on it. You don't need the sauce. And right now I'm also, I hear it bubbling in the background, I am making a big pot of vegetable soup, which is crazy because it's super hot here. Okay, good job. And, but I always like to have a vegetable soup during the week. Those times where I really want a snack, but I don't want a snack, I'm hungry, and I'll just have just a bowl of vegetable soup. It's full of veggies. It hits the spot, gets me through till mealtime. Yeah. we're going to put those on top of these that have the cheese on it, okay? Yeah. Are we running out of cheese? No, you got plenty of cheese. If you keep eating it, we're not going to have enough cheese.
Don't take all it.
What?
I don't want you taking all it.
You don't want me to take all of it? Okay. All right. No more cheese on anything else. Now put the pepperonis on top of these, okay? And I had a lot of zucchini. My parents, perfect. Make sure you put it right in the middle. Yeah, good. My parents had an abundance of zucchini, like everyone has an abundance of zucchini. So I snagged some and brought a bunch home. And what I did, I blanched some of them, where I just boiled them really quick and then dunked them in cold water. And I diced it, and then I did that, and then I put into baggies to freeze. They do last a little bit longer whenever you do that. I also, oh, we're out of, okay. We'll just leave those plain. I shredded probably 4 cups worth, which was 1 zucchini. And I also froze those because I'll use that for either fritters or muffins, and or even pizza crust. And then I put zucchini in my vegetable soup that I'm making right now. So now I'm going to put, this is a different kind of, this is a softer cheese. Like I said, you could put any cheese on top. It could be Gouda, it could be blue cheese. Just kidding. But I'm using the soft goat cheese. I'm just going to set on there. Are you all full? No, of course not. So I'm just setting these on top, and then I will be putting them in the oven just for 5 minutes. Let everything heat up and the cheese melt a little bit. But I mean, this kind of goat cheese doesn't really melt too much. Just kind of stands there looking at you. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more cheese. So just a reminder, next week I'll probably still end up making like a smoothie of some sort, probably my green monster smoothie. And then we're just gonna have a little chat. I'm gonna answer any questions that you might have, any topics that you want me to cover. Just throw those in the comment, that would be great. And we'll talk about those next week. Okay, so I've got the temperature in the oven set for 375, and I'm going to throw these in for 5 minutes, and then this is probably what we're going to have for lunch today, which is, I mean, it's a great lunch. You've got your veggie and some protein from the cheese and good fat. I think that's all we're going to do today. So like I said, I'll put these in the oven. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully Scarlett doesn't have a bellyache from all the goat cheese that she ate. But don't forget, write any comments or topics that you'd like for me to talk about next week, and we'll just try that, and I get to share with you a little bit more about me and why I'm doing these cooking shows. And because so far they've been a blast to do. I really do enjoy doing them, and the comments and feedback I get, I think I'm helping, which is great. That's the whole purpose of it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday and your week. Thanks again. Hi, I'm Dr. Allison Kloss. I'm author of Feast as a Family Cookbook. I just wanted to take a minute or two to explain to you how I came up with this idea, the process that was behind it, and where it's helping so many people today. So, I have one cookbook that I self-published, and it was a very long process. It was a very big book, but everyone that I talked to that had that book, they were like, when are you coming out with a second cookbook? And I was very hesitant because it was a lot of work just for that first book, but I decided to just dive in and go for it. It took me 2.5 years to finish this cookbook, but I'm so glad I did, because of the amount of people that come to me every day saying, oh, I've made this, I've made that, my family loves this. It brings me so much joy. And the whole purpose of me making my cookbook was to help families eat healthier and change their lifestyle so they can enjoy the food, but more importantly, enjoy what health benefits is coming from it. And I have a family, I have 2 young girls, and whenever I was putting together this book, I really wanted to make recipes that they loved and that my husband loved. And so it took work, and a lot of taste testing, which my daughters to this day love being they are my favorite taste testers. But I wanted to help other families as well and make fast, family-friendly recipes. And this is exactly what it is. I can honestly say I've made every single one of the recipes in here, and my family has tried every single one of them, and they love them. And I wouldn't have put it in here if it didn't taste good and if people didn't enjoy it. Like my favorite recipe is butternut squash soup. That's such a great one for winter and fall. And my daughters, they at least 2 to 3 times a week will eat waffles or pancakes. So you should see my book at home. It's just completely matted together, but it's incredible. And I've had so many families come to me saying how much they enjoy it for their family.
Hi, I'm Carly and I'm the Patient Care Coordinator at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Before working here, I always looked at chiropractic as reactive care. When I was younger, I was thrown off my horse and I had whiplash. I went to the chiropractor to resolve it. But now, since working at Columbia Family Chiropractic, I know that chiropractic can also be proactive, that taking care of your body ensures a well life.
Welcome to Excite Medical's educational video about your spine and the DRX 9000. Over the next 6 minutes, we will break down your vertebral column, bulging discs, herniated discs, degenerative disease, and the DRX 9000 treatment. The spinal column or backbone is one of the most important parts of your body. It provides you the ability to stand upright, bend, and twist. "33 individual bones interlock with each other to form your spinal column. The vertebrae are numbered and divided into 4 main regions. C1 through C7 cervical vertebrae form your neck, supporting your head, allowing you to nod and shake your head at things you don't like. T1 through T12 are your thoracic vertebrae that are joined by ribs to form your rib cage. Lumbar vertebrae carry most of the weight of your upper body and provide a stable centre of gravity when you move. Your sacrum and coccyx make up the back wall of your pelvis. Intervertebral discs are located between each of the movable vertebrae. Discs consist of a rubber band-like outer ring with crisscrossing fibres called the annulus fibrosus that surrounds a jelly-like centre, the nucleus pulposus. Discs function like shock-absorbing springs. The annulus pulls the vertebral bodies together against the elastic resistance of the gelatinous-like nucleus. When you bend, the nucleus acts like a ball bearing, allowing the vertebral bodies to roll over the incompressible gel. Each disc works together with 2 facet joints forming a spinal motion segment. The biomechanical function of each pair of facet joints is to guide and limit the movement of the corresponding spinal motion segments. The surfaces of these joints are coated with cartilage that helps each joint move smoothly. Directly behind the discs, the rain-like vertebral bodies create a vertical tunnel called the spinal canal or neural canal. The spinal cord and nerves pass through the spinal canal, which protects them from injury. The spinal cord is the major column of nerve tissue that is connected to the brain and serves as an information superhighway between the brain and the body. The nerves in your spinal cord branch off to form pairs of nerve roots that travel through the small openings between each of your vertebrae, called vertebral foramens. This is the condition of a normal lumbar intervertebral disc. Degenerative disease is the loss of disc height that may impact adjacent nerve roots. When the jelly-like nucleus pushes against the annulus wall, it is called a bulging disc. When that gel-like core pushes out through a tear in the fibrous wall, it is referred to as a herniated disc. These conditions may impact the surrounding nerves, causing sharp, severe, and/or debilitating back pain. They may also cause neuropathy, sciatica, or other symptoms. The DRX is a highly effective, non-surgical and drug-free treatment for these conditions. The DRX 9000 machine is the world's first disc therapy that is able to target a specific disc level, adjusts itself 13 times per second, and pulls utilizing a logarithmic curve. These 3 factors ensure that each patient experiences an ultra-smooth treatment that is delivered with consistent precision. Research and findings by medical doctors associated with prestigious medical institutions, such as the Mayo Clinic, Stanford and Johns Hopkins, reveal that patients who qualified and underwent the DRX 9000 treatment had an 88 to 90% success rate. During a comfortable 30-minute DRX treatment, the pressure inside the disc is dropped by more than 200 millimeters of mercury, creating a vacuum-like effect, bringing nutrients and fluids back into the disc. In the case of degenerative disc disease, nutrients and fluids are brought back into the disc, increasing the disc height.
A minute. Hello everybody, happy Wednesday, workout Wednesday. It was raining all morning, but the sun came out just in time for our little workout. So today we are going to have a very special guest, Miss Rachel. She's going to pop in and out. She's doing some work right now, but she'll be in and out. We are doing a whole body workout today. We're going to do the first half of the workout is core. We're gonna do a core blast. Rachel's gonna be popping in and out. The first 4 exercises we're gonna do are gonna be our core blast. They're gonna be really fun down on your mat. And then we are gonna be doing some gentle legs and arms as well. Of course, those we'll be doing without any weight. So it'll be nice and easy for you to follow at home. So we're gonna do the core first, then we'll do legs and arms, and then we're gonna wrap it up as one big bundle. So first things first, we've got to get nice and warm. So I'm gonna have you guys do our 3 exercises to warm your body up, and they are just gonna be rotations. And here comes Miss Rachel to join for the warm-ups. And when you feel nice and warm, we'll go on to the next. Side to side, warming up our spine. How you feel, Rachel?
Feeling good, feeling right.
Good.
I'm back.
She is back and better than ever. On to the next one. We're gonna be arching forward and back.
Wish I had a hat.
Y'all check out my hat. Look at that. We're gonna get Rachel one for next week.
We're gonna be twins.
She's in all black today. I'm in all white.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Okay, first 2 exercises we're gonna do are the bird dog. I've done this before for you guys. It's a good functional core movement, and then we're gonna be doing knee tucks. We're gonna do 20 of each, and we're gonna do 2 rounds of those. So first I'll show you the bird dog. We're gonna be down on the mat, wrists and elbows and shoulders stacked, tabletop position. Okay. So your legs are bent at 90 degrees. And we're just going to be bringing out opposite arm and opposite leg. So left arm, right leg, squeezing at the top and crunching your core in. Right arm, left leg. That's the first one. The second exercise we're going to do is the knee tuck. So we're going to have our hands gently here, and we're going to be tucking in like this. If you need to modify, you'll just keep one leg down and tuck in one leg at a time, keeping the other leg on the ground just like that. See that? You got it?
What's the modify?
Just keep one leg down and tuck.
Got it.
Tuck one. Okay. Tuck one, or tuck both, tuck both, tuck both. All right. We're going to do 20 of each, 2 rounds. So first we're going to start with bird dog. I'm going to move my mat a little bit so they can see. And I'm going to start on the right arm. Left leg, that's 1. That's 2.
and we're gonna go to 20. So again, go at your own pace, a little bit slower, a little bit faster, that's okay. Slower is better for this one. We're gonna be squeezing, and we are at 9 and 10, halfway. Woo. A little bit of cloud coverage is always nice when we start to warm up. That is 14. 6 more, you guys. And we've got 3 and 2 and 1. Onto our knee tucks. Flip on over on your mat. Arms gently here for support. And Rachel's gonna do the modified in the back, or she can do the full. We're gonna tuck in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing 20. Go at your own pace. 10. 5 more, you guys. Woo! I don't know about you, but I can feel the burn already.
Listen, I can confirm that the modified version is still tough and feeling the burn.
That's 20. Good job. Woo! Back to the bird dogs.
Okay.
We're doing 2 rounds of these. And we're going to do 20 again. On my count in 3, 2, 1, starting on the right side. 4, 5. This is really good for your brain-body connection. Anytime you do opposite arm, opposite leg, it's really good for your nervous system, which you know I love as a chiropractor. Lost count, let's do 8 more.
We are on 12, you're right.
Yes. And we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let me just hop up. Y'all are gonna flip over. I'm just gonna clear this screen. Dr. Randy's got a low battery. So on your back, we're doing the knee tucks. Keep your hands by your side for just gentle support. Try not to use them as leverage though. We're gonna tuck our knees in for 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're doing 20. Keep it up at your own pace. We've got 10 more. Modified is 1 leg at a time like Rachel. We've got 5 more. Woo! Woohoo! 2 and 1. Have a little bit of water if you need to.
Gonna grab mine.
Okay. I will explain the next 2.
Okay.
Next 2 exercises, we're doing 2 rounds again. We're gonna do the plank punch. What is that? It is a plank position. Wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked, feet kicked out. Modification will be Rachel. And that will be, I don't know, that will be to your knees. So Rachel's gonna do the modified, and we're gonna do 20 rounds of left.
20 rounds?
Right. Yeah, punching out like this.
Okay.
And that's the first movement. The second movement is the pike. Pike is really hard, and I don't really have a modification. Maybe Rachel can think of one. But pike. Some people can do it with straight legs. I cannot, so I'm going to be bending my knees. 1, 2. You like that? I guess the modification would be keeping your feet on the ground and just crunching up. Okay. But let us start with the forearm plank punch. This one's really hard, so I don't know if I'll be able to talk through it. But you're gonna start wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked. Kick your feet out. Rachel's gonna be on her knees. Keep that core nice and tight, and we're gonna go right, left, right, left. That was 4, so we're gonna do 20 total. Arms can be shaky. Mine kind of already are. We're at 12. And one thing you want to to do is try and keep your hips as still as possible. Keep them from rocking back and forth. A wider stance will allow for that. Let's do 2 more. Good job. Woo! Woo!
Sun's starting to come out.
Here comes the sun. And here comes the sweat. Okay, flip on over and we are gonna do our pikes.
Okay.
Only 15
Yeah,
degrees.
what? Okay. So,
Modification would just be keeping your feet on the ground. I'm gonna bring my feet up like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more, you guys. Woo! I got 2 more, but I have to take a break, and that's okay. You guys just go at your own pace. Miss Rachel's crushing it. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay, back to that forearm punch. Forearm plank punch. Modification to your knees. Otherwise, you're in a full plank position. Bring your feet nice and wide. That makes it easier to keep your hips from rocking. We're punching out. That's 2. Awesome. Halfway. I'm going to drop to my knees if you guys need to. That is 18. Okay, we got 2 more. Good job, you guys. Pike. This is the last of our core blast, so we can do it. We're only 15 movements away from being done with our core. Woo! Woohoo! And that sun is hot, let me tell you. You ready?
I'm ready, are you?
Yep, I think so. Hike up, that's 1. That's 2. That's 10. We'll take a little breather. And then I'll do my 5. Good job, Rachel. Slow and steady. She is on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, woohoo! Good job. Core blast. Get some water. And I'll explain what we're doing next. So next we're going to do a little leg and arm action. We're going to do 3 different movements. 12 of each, 2 times, like we did with the core. First movement is going to be, and this is all without weight. If you have weight at home and you want to use it, that's great. As heavy as you want to go. I would go lighter just because we're doing 2 rounds. So if you guys have 5 pounds, 10 pounds, I wouldn't lift anything more than 10 pounds. We're going to be doing the deadlift. Unweighted deadlift looks like this. You're hinging at your hips. So you're hinging back and coming up, and when you come up, we're going to do a row. So you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. That's 1. We're going to do 12 of those, and then we're going to move on to the ground to press. A ground to press is like a squat with usually you have a weight. So you're going to be squatting down, bringing that weighted item. Even if it's a water bottle, you want to do that. Mine's empty, so it doesn't weigh anything. You squat it down, and then you press it back up. So it's a squat, and you're just pressing, doing a shoulder press at the top. We're going to do 12 of those, and then we're going to move on to the next. We're going to do a sumo squat. Sumo squat is when your legs are at 45-degree angles. We are squatting down, squeezing up, and then we're going to do a tricep. Actually, no, that doesn't really move well with that. So I'm going to change it on a whim. We're just going to do a pull-up like this. It's kind of a mix between a shoulder press and a low row. But you're just going to pull up like this. Squeeze those shoulder blades. We'll do 12 of those. So to start, we're gonna do the deadlifts. I'm just gonna come like this so you guys can see me hinging at my hips. Your modifier for all of these are just decreasing your range of motion, okay? So we're gonna do 12. Let me just, did my phone die? Oh no, it's just very sunny. Okay, nope, we're good. I thought my phone went black. Okay, deadlifts to start with the upright row. We're hinging down, rowing at the top. And you don't wanna go, I go to here, because if I go any further, I start to round my shoulders. You wanna keep your shoulders back. So I'm going down, squeezing up. That's 2. Squeezing your glutes when you come up. Halfway there, we've got 6 more. Then you will get a nice little cardio blast in it. So I'm gonna go fast, Rachel's gonna go slow. We're gonna do 12 round to press starting now. 2 more for me. Woo! And Rachel's going slow and steady, which I love. 3. But going fast does get that cardio aspect. Nice job. 12 of those. Now we're moving on to the sumo squat to pull. 45-degree angles, nice and wide. Squatting down, pulling up. Very good. Squeezing those glutes at the top. We're doing 12 of these. That's 5. Remember, your modification is just decreasing that range of motion. I think our girl Rach has you covered in the back. 3 more. 2. And 1. Very good. You guys, we're almost done. We've just got 1 more round of those. So I'm gonna start the hip hinge. Rachel's got some work to do.
Mom, I'm going off. Yep.
Okay. Bye. Thanks for joining.
Give a good little leg.
1 more round, you guys. The deadlifts. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Dr. Stetson. Just want to take you behind the scenes at how we analyze the cervical x-ray. Okay, there are 4 things that we look at when we're looking at the side view of the neck. So what you're going to notice is our sample x-ray on the right and then a gentleman that came in with neck pain on the left. You'll notice in the sample x-ray, one of the major features we look at is the overall curvature of the spine. So when you're looking at the side presentation, it shouldn't be vertical and straight. It should actually have this arc. Ideal position being 45 degrees. This person measured 45 out of 45. Over here, you'll notice this person has straightened out. The measurement that we got was 8 out of 45. The second feature that we look at is forward head posture. Forward head posture measures how far the person's head has moved the wrong direction, which would be forward. We want the position of his head right over top of the C4, C5 joint. You'll notice in our sample, it's at 0 position, right over top. In this gentleman has a 45 millimeter forward head posture. This is important because it puts a lot of strain on the back of the neck, where a lot of times people will have tight shoulder muscles and tight neck muscles because of that position. The third thing that we look at is how well the skull sits on top of the actual spine. So we have these 2 lines. We want them to be parallel. This one's actually in a great position. This one's stuck in extension. You want them to be both equally positioned, nice open gap back here. The last thing that we're going to look at is the spacing in between the joints, which most people are familiar with disc tissue. The actual bone being the white, the black space being the disc. They should be nice and equal like you see here, here, here. But in this gentleman, you'll notice that it starts to thin out right there, and we do notice some degeneration or bony change. These would be bone spurs starting to develop in this individual.
All right, Marvin, so how did you find out about our office?
So my sister Roxana was the one that, my sister works at Orange State Fitness, and she's the one that told me about the doctor, and I came through, and it's been great ever since then.
Awesome. Well, what made you want to start under care with us?
Oh, my back was just terrible. I needed to find somebody ASAP to fix the pain, and just I need adjustment, and ever since then it's been going great.
Awesome. So since you started, how has everything changed with your back?
Oh, my life has changed completely. My back is better. I can run better now. I can exercise more comfortably. I sleep better. I get to enjoy my life a lot better. So there's been lots of improvements. So it's going well.
Awesome.
Can't complain.
Awesome. Thanks, Marvin.
Absolutely.
I think we're doing this.
Welcome. All right, welcome. Here for the health of it. We have Sam Jardine, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. Actually, I'll start with this. He is a professional hockey player, and one of the things that we want to do is interview high performers and then ask them about some of their health experiences, some of their stories. I know he's got some sort of sauna story that he's been leading up to, so we're going to hear all about that. And for, I guess, how many years, maybe walk us through from the time you were 16, you were a 6th-round draft pick with the Chicago Blackhawks, and went to Ohio State, played hockey there, and then you've been in some different professional leagues. Now you're in Britain, Wales, Britain.
Yep, Cardiff, Wales.
Yep. And tell us maybe a little bit about that journey and what your health, what your health focus has been. For that.
Yeah, I mean, well, my hockey career has been a roller coaster. The professional career. Growing up, I was rooted in Central Alberta, Lacombe Minor Hockey Association, onto AAA in Red Deer, juniors in Camrose, to collegiate in Ohio State. Always looking really well. Drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, like you said, and then my rookie season was up and down between 2 teams. Next year, same thing, 2 new teams. I think in my first 4 years, I played for 8 teams, but I was never traded. Teammates enjoyed me, coaches liked me. It was positive reviews, positive reviews all around. And so at times it was frustrating.
You were the hype guy.
Yeah, locker room presence, and some fantastic memories, great experiences. I get to sit around with you guys and tell these stories. And if I would have stuck it out at the same team for 4 years, how boring is that, I suppose. But yeah, started the training camp in Chicago, sent down to Rockford, sent down to Indy. Next year was with San Antonio in Colorado. We won a championship there in the ECHL. Next year was with Toronto and Orlando. Got called up to Black Ace and won a Calder Cup championship there. Following season stayed with Toronto, but our affiliate changed to Newfoundland, St. John's, Newfoundland, and got sent down by Toronto to St. John's for their playoff run, and we won a Kelly Cup. And after the 8 teams in 4 years, I was looking for a little more stability and went off to Europe, where they only have the one team, and they either have to fire you or you're there for the whole season. And so I enjoyed being a part of a group of guys for the entire
stability.
season.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I'm curious, when did you know you were going to devote your life to hockey? Instead of, when you're young and you kind of think everybody at least thinks they're going to be a pro player.
Yeah.
But you making that transition and actually becoming one.
Yeah. There was 2 moments. Both of them they're sort of embarrassing stories. They're
perfect
story. Yeah, there's stories about failure. There's a Bantam draft. When you're 14 years old, you play Bantam AAA or lower. Guys will get drafted out of lower leagues as well. And I got passed up, and I thought, my older brother got drafted. I thought that was it's something you got to do.
Right.
Or at that age, you put a lot of priority on getting drafted. I got passed up. That was, I guess, a blow to the ego, whatever you kind of ego
Sure.
you got at 14 years old. And I guess at that age, you're still kind of in this illusion that you're going straight to the NHL.
Right.
So there was that moment. And then a couple weekends later, I had a breakaway in a 3-on-3 inline tournament. This thing was pretty much just drop in. And I missed that breakaway, but somebody tomahawked me from behind in the process, which really hurt.
Which explain. When he
really
says tomahawk, what do you picture happening?
I didn't even know what he meant when he said inline tournament. Tell me more about
Breakaway,
that.
so explain breakaway, inline tournament, and tomahawk.
I'm in all alone, and the game is on the line. It's like the storybook ending. We're down a goal. I've got a breakaway with like 4 seconds left, and a guy's chasing me from behind, and he's a goon. And he winds up from behind and takes a nice little lumberjack chop at my wrist. And I didn't score, but he got called for a penalty, and so I got to have a penalty shot. So it's just me versus the goalie. Now there's no back checker.
Time runs out.
Time ran out, but I
So it's
still
just
get
you.
my penalty
Wow.
shot. This is like the Hollywood ending. Like, tie the game. Let's put this baby in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And we were undefeated in that tournament. I just remember this vividly. And I missed that shot. And for some reason, it was like the draft and some, like things were bubbling up, and just cried the whole way home.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was like, "What's going on here? Like, you gotta pull it together." And so his memory of that event would probably be like, "Yeah, that was the day that my son almost wasn't my son anymore."
When he found out you were.
But for me, I went home and was like, I'm just sick of sucking. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to be a winner. And the next year, my ice hockey season, I made goals. I wrote my goals down, and I killed it.
Yeah.
And kind of took off from there. So.
Did you change anything just performance-wise? Like, did you do anything diet or health-related during that transition where you started realizing, like, hey, I got what it takes. I want to win. Mm-hmm. What sort of things did you do to just get you ready for that next level?
Diet was an easy one, just because my mom growing up was so good with that stuff. We had the garden, and thankfully, she didn't have a full-time job, so I had unbelievable meals growing up. So that's all. My diet's always been dialed.
Yeah. Nice.
And I can't really function, actually. If I kind of drift off into a crappy diet, I feel it almost. But yeah, around that age, 14 years old, started a workout program with my older brother. Nothing crazy. I think most everything was body weight, cardiovascular. But I don't know how much it really transformed my body, but I could just feel my confidence and my mentality. Mm-hmm. Those were the sorts of things that were shifting. And I went into that next season, my 15-year-old season, with a lot to prove. And part of me feels like I was smarter back then than I am now. To be honest,
with my
15-year-old Sam inspires me. I've kind of lost that a little bit.
I remember when I was started taking care of some Olympic athletes, they would tell me what they were eating, and it was so disgusting. So I'm curious, all your years, all your teammates, what's the most disgusting meal you've ever seen a high performer put in their body?
Oh man, I got to play.
You don't have to use their name either, but you can if you want.
He's gonna hear it, yeah. And he kind of dragged me. To be honest, he dragged me into a little routine with him. But I got to play with this living legend last year in Cardiff. His name's Stephen Dixon. Okay. Some call him the Wolf Man. Hair down to here. Centerman, just wavy locks out there, taking every important face off all game long. But
beard?
Oh yeah, big beard.
Gotta have the beard.
Chest hair?
Big beard.
Good chest hair.
Chest hair.
Flowing chest hair. Yeah, the Wolfman Steven Dixon, or Dicko. But yeah, humble guy, but he would just crush Don's. McDonald's was his go-to.
Heard that one.
Yeah, and him and I started to kind of vibe a little bit, and so what we would do is we had this usually play Saturday night, Sunday night. Most of the time we'd go out, have a good time Sunday night, let a little steam off, and then we would retract that with a good off day Monday, but we would hit the sauna. A nice evening sauna, feeling really good about yourself, getting ready to go for Tuesday morning practice. And you're like, George, you want to go get a little Dawn's run in us before bedtime? So next thing you know, you're like, hour-long sauna social turns into an hour and a half more conversation at Dawn's. I mean, I wouldn't trade those conversations for the world, but maybe we can pick a different restaurant next season.
That's great. Now but growing up, you've been under chiropractic care for how long?
My entire life.
Since you were born. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's unique. Do you meet a lot of guys that you are now around that get adjustments or do anything unique in the performance side of things?
Well, to be honest, so those years where I was bouncing around, I had lingering lower back, lingering groin, lingering hip flexor. I was dealing with some stuff.
Yeah.
And I also in college, I lacerated my forearm and cut some tendons. And so those tendons, they had to kind of be woven back together, and it kind of, my range of motion isn't good. I get jammed up real quick.
Yeah.
And defensively, anytime I push a guy, like I feel it. And I didn't have, well, I did, but I should have been right on top of my chiropractic resource.
Right.
It wasn't provided by the team, but I had it provided through my Players Association insurance. Rookie move, honestly, rookie move. And went to Cardiff this year, and our guy was on top of it from the get-go. I think we obviously extremely long flight, and so our coach and GM, they're fantastic. They're always thinking about like how to treat the boys and whatever.
Right.
And so they had him waiting. We had just finished our flight, and he's there, and so you see the locker room, and they're like probably a little messed up after your flight. Like, it's time for you to meet Urge. And me and Urge now have like he really changed my career.
Nice.
I find the most important thing as a hockey player is healthy hips, and it's kind of it's a joke in our family because I've passed this little routine that I do, Sam's Happy Hips, and so I passed this routine on to my mom.
Yeah, she's going to show us what that looks like, right? Yeah, you're going to clarify.
It's really helped her. She's a big long distance runner. We've been working with her on some stuff. Kayla Jean, I believe, has benefited a little bit from it as well. But having Urge there for consistent treatment, like I think it was mostly every Wednesday and before every home game. So it was a game changer.
Nice.
It felt incredible.
Nice.
So what's the healthy hips move? Can we see a move?
It's a.
What's your favorite move?
It's the
happy hips.
It's the where you're laying down on your side and you're raising your.
Still not sure if I'm getting the visual.
These are my legs.
Can
right
you get
now.
on the table?
Maybe if it was just my fingers.
that makes more sense.
These are the happy hips right here. You know, clamshells. I know that's what it's called. Adductors and abductors.
Yep.
Yeah. So working on those, I had to strengthen. I was had a skating coach tell me that I was a quad driver, which makes sense because that's like a huge portion of my training that I do. What I think happened was there was this huge imbalance between the power of my quads and my
glutes and hamstrings.
Hamstrings.
Yeah.
And I would start to feel that in my hip flexors. Randy always told me that my hips were off, and that was contributing to it as well. And then you get to the point where it's like no amount of warming up seems to be helping. If anything, it makes it like kind of worse. And it takes the fun away from the game when you're playing hurt or injured. Like it's just like another day on the ice where you're just straining yourself, and as a defenseman, you're getting roasted. At least as a goal scorer, it's like, okay, maybe I find my pockets and get open, and I can be cerebral that way.
No idea.
I'm following. Wait, what was that? Yeah, I'm cerebral finding my pockets.
Finding the pockets.
Yeah, I got that. Okay.
But as a defenseman, I mean, you're relying on your physicality, and my strength comes from
happy hips,
explosive happy hips.
Yeah. Now, so from a skating standpoint, at what point in your life did you learn how to turn right?
I mean, it's got to be probably the same year that I just learned, which is a good story in itself. My grandfather would, actually, Randy worked for him out of the pig barn in the cold Canadian winters. He would flood a little rink, and there's pictures of me. That's where I learned how to skate. So
nice.
Yeah. 3 years old.
Yeah, so he learned how to turn right at 3.
I still cannot turn right.
Skate backwards is 3.5 years old.
I mean, the rink just goes left.
Ricky Bobby on the track.
Public skating. He's only done public skating. You just go the same circle.
Backwards, don't even think about it.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I was always curious about this. When did you realize America was just more dominant in sports than Canada? Particularly hockey.
Oh, there's no good answer for that. I mean, I grew up watching the highlights of the 1972 Summit Series, so I was brainwashed to think Canada dominated, and then I grew up and critically thought for myself, and now I still think Canada dominated.
That's a good point.
Came close a couple of years in the Olympics, so there's some good gold medal matches.
We're getting
Canada
better.
versus USA.
We're getting better.
I think the boys are going back to the Olympics too, the NHLers. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Missed it last go. Anyways.
So let's hear the sauna. I kind of prepped you before this that you're a big fan of the sauna.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, you travel, you find a sauna. And I said there has to be some weird experiences. Well, first, maybe why do you like about the sauna? Why do you do it? And then dive into maybe if you've had some weird experiences.
Yeah.
With who's your friend, Don?
Kyle.
It's Kyle.
Any chance that I can get to bring up Kyle in a story, I have to. I call him the boss because he loves Bruce Springsteen. And I've never seen Bruce Springsteen live. Apparently he's electric. But, I mean...
He is.
I think Ranks...
Verify that.
Yeah. I think Ranks, he would bring energy. He should have... he played professional hockey. Anyways, I'm getting off the point. But
we'll invite him onto our podcast one day and you can tell us about it.
I think him and I on a podcast together getting interviewed would be a lot of fun. But it was sort of like a lifestyle conversion when I met him. This guy, he would just funny about everything, always on, 110%, just the type of guy that you just love being around. And I had just had another one of my setbacks. I was in Toronto, this unbelievable organization. I thought I had put it all together my third year of pro hockey. Now is the time to break through, NHL dreams. Sent down to Orlando. And I go down with my, dragging my tail between my legs a little bit. And there's Ranks, he's my stall partner. And he gets to know me.
Maybe explain stall partner.
In the locker room. There's Stolly.
Okay.
Call him Stolly. In the locker room, we just get dressed beside each other. And so you're forced to interact with this guy all the time. I mean, it was just fate that one of my best buddies now were paired up like that. Anyways, got to know him real quickly. Our routine started to look a lot like this. practice. We're in Orlando, Florida, so beautiful weather all year round. Yep. And I had kind of stumbled upon this realization that I was taking myself way too seriously. And taking, like I did when I was 14 years old, I was taking my failures very personally. It was affecting my profession. I would go down a level where I was supposed to dominate. Right. I would just be average. Wasn't having a lot of fun doing what I had dreamed to do my entire life. Right. You know, so I needed a little bit of an attitude change, and so our routine with ranks would look a lot like this. We'd practice hard always, and then grab some lunch and go sit by the pool, and 9 times out of 10 there would be, 6 or 12 pack of beers.
I didn't know what he was going to say.
You didn't know what direction I was going.
And so we would sit by the pool, we'd play Bruce Springsteen most times, and Ranks would get his karaoke voice going. And, we would do that until, dinner time, go back to our apartments, grab some grub, grill out, and then we would head over to the sauna, which was my favorite part. So after the day in the sun and a good meal and good music, we'd cap it off with like an hour-long sauna, and by 9 o'clock you're completely zonked, ready for a good night's sleep, wake up, do it all over again. And I started to just love life.
Yeah.
So living in the Southeast,
just having fun, yeah.
Back in this southeastern area, it reminds me of very good times. And all jokes aside, there's something about that sauna. It's just a reset. Thoughts, good vibes come to me, like plans, dreams, visions. It's where I do my best thinking. I know some people, I've heard that happens when they're running. I personally, not a huge fan of running, just because you got to keep these hips.
You got to keep the happy hips, yeah.
So
way too much eye contact there.
The sauna. So this past summer, and then we got a sauna crew going in Cardiff. Made sure about that. Actually, in Toronto, I had a steam room right in the hotel. Not as good, but it'll work.
Does the trick.
Yeah, and then this past summer, I bought one for my parents' place.
Nice.
So, pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, not good. Well, so you've experienced probably like the steam saunas, and have you done any of the infrared saunas?
The infrared's the one that I bought.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, but I've done. Listen, I'm a sonic expert through
anything
and through.
with heat.
There was a spot in Toronto, actually. They call it the Russian Spa.
Yeah.
Oh man, they got all sorts of saunas in there. A little cold dip after. Right. Or they got the thing. They got the rope. You ever seen this? You pull the rope down. There's a bucket of ice cold water just comes all out.
I didn't know that.
It's a shock to the system. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Some of the best I've ever felt is after doing sauna, ice bath, sauna, ice bath, sauna, ice bath. You have to do it 3 or 4 times.
It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's next? You're in Europe.
Yeah.
And what do you see the next year to 5 years looking like for you?
Well, I started to really enjoy the game again. I had a ton of fun this last year. I think it's all it's like an intentional decision for me, honestly. Like to just try and have as much fun with it, and then I'm starting to find out that I play way better, which is interesting, And as far as NHL dreams go, it's if I just keep getting better and keep getting better, I was pretty close. And I still I continue to find these things out about myself. You're in the hockey world, it's moving towards these younger guys. It's partially because of salary reasons, that sort of deal, but there's also a lot of defensemen that peak after they turn 30, 26 right now.
Right.
And so I'm still as motivated as I've ever been to see where I can go with my career.
Nice.
I think it's a fantastic lifestyle because it provides me a lot of free time to explore my other interests. which I'm actually, growing very passionate about a number of different things now. And the pressure's off sort of a little bit now, especially when I went over to Europe. Started to have a ton of fun with the game. I think it rubbed off on like my teammates and my coaches. I found guys just trusted me more.
Sure.
And were including me more on team things. As you put in the years and you build up experience, then you're relied on more as a leader. And I think that's an interesting little addition to your career as well. Now there's going to be some younger guys that can learn a thing or two from all the mistakes I've made.
And what's the age range that your current team, youngest to oldest?
Yeah, youngest guy would be 21, I think, on our team last year.
Yeah.
We had a very old team for professional hockey standards. I was the most games would have been the second youngest at 26. In North America, when I was playing for Newfoundland, the last team I played for in North America, I would have been one of the older players.
Yeah.
Because it's like a development league.
Right.
And now when you go to Europe, it's just big business. Like, we're here to win, and if you can play, then you play. If you can't, then we don't.
So what's I would always hear about old man strength, and I stopped playing hockey before I ever got to experience that. But now that you're 26, if you had to look back at an 18-year-old and look at a 34-year-old, and you're both going to collide, or you're both going to fight, or whatever you're going to do, what's your take on what I guess would be considered old man strength at maybe 35?
Man, I think it's, to be honest, I know that that's the term, old man strength, and I know immediately when you say something like that, you think physicality. I think it's the mental edge, though. I think it's hockey's such a quick game. I think it's that extra half second of preparation before the big hit. I think it's numerous times being in that situation. And a little bit of a comfort level to engage in those battles a little bit, like a confidence level, because they probably had their fair share of failures. They've learned from it. Now they know. For me, I would kill fitness tests at the NHL level. I would go into Toronto Maple Leafs. We had a fitness test. We had a test where we would increase the elevation of a treadmill every 3 minutes and increase the speed. Most guys, if they got around 18 minutes, that was fantastic. My first year, I won with 20 minutes, 13 seconds, and that was best in the entire camp. Of all the NHL players, everybody.
Nice.
And that sort of set the scene. It was a good thing for me. The second year back, I broke that record by like a minute and a half. And there was I think there might have been one or two guys that even broke 20. So as far as like the physicality, like I had that. I was putting in the work in the weight room. I was working hard, but I don't think that I worked as smart as I should have. And when I would look at the veterans and some of these guys, I mean, they got like bellies, or like you look at them, it's like that guy makes $4.5 million in the NHL. It's like that looks like my dad at barbecue. And I'm over, and you're over here killing it in the gym. It's like this guy knows rest is a weapon.
Yeah.
Positioning is a huge part of his game, and the game is easier for him because he's just got all this knowledge built up.
Yeah.
And probably happy hips.
Gotta have happy hips.
What would you rate
takeaway
if you had to guess Tom's old man strength 1 to 10? Where would you estimate his strength?
How much?
No, let's put it on the bench press. We gotta ask the bench press.
How much bicep hair do you have?
Am I?
None.
I got a little shoulder action.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could rip out 45 push-ups right now if you did it on this table right now. 45 push-ups with the pressure on.
Mm-hmm. Could I bench more or less than 200 pounds? That's an important question. at Columbia Family Chiropractic.
I think if you could do it, yeah, I do. I do
Smart.
think you could do 200 pounds. That's a plate is 135 and a 25 is 185. Ooh.
2 plates is 225.
Okay, that's up there. It's difficult. I do think you could do it. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Big game performer.
That's right. That's right.
I got introduced to Tom at the driving range before a golf match. It's like, yeah, he's probably like in our wheelhouse. Start off par 5. He has a not even 2-foot eagle putt.
That's right.
I'm like,
That's true.
who invited the stick?
Just letting the pipes loose.
Yeah. So you would driver 3-wood that far, 2 feet forward, but you better be able to bench press 200 pounds.
That's right. That's true. That's what I do.
So are we avoiding the old man strength question? 1 to 10?
Oh, how much old man strength does he have?
Yeah, what would you estimate?
Me and you meet in an alley, and you're sizing me up. Remember, I can only skate left, too.
Yeah. Interesting.
He can drive the ball far.
But I can drive the ball
Are you
far.
wearing your spread joy t-shirt
Yes.
too?
Yes. Factor that in.
7.4.
Oh, that's high.
That's a
really
great
high.
score. That is a great score.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay, good. Good to know. So, you stick around Canada in the off season, right? For the most part.
For the most part, this year, because of circumstance.
If there are two things that you would recommend to, like the 12-year-olds that are kind of thinking like, all right, I want to start putting in some energy over the summer, what sort of things would you have them do besides get their hips right?
Oh man,
Year 12 again. Take us back to year 12.
Or you're watching your hero when you're 12, or
that too.
a pro athlete.
I honestly think the key to success is like joy. Joy brings fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
Fulfillment brings more desire to learn and grow about it. So you got to have as much fun with it as you possibly can. I've learned that about myself, like I was sharing before. I've learned that about teams.
Yeah.
I've been incredibly fortunate to, if not play an essential role on championship teams, observe it from far and really, some of those so the Marlies team that I didn't play a game in the playoffs for, it was just a class session every day.
Right.
I get to go in here and see, because we knew we were winning before playoffs even started. There was never a doubt.
Right.
And every championship team that I've been on is marked by a high competitive drive, which is on most teams.
Right.
But a bond between guys that is like rooted in just pure joy and
Joy
fun.
and love, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, I mean, because the game, the higher you go, the tougher the game gets. The more things that are going to try and rip the love of the game from you.
Right.
But I mean, the game is, I always remember it in the purest form on the backyard rink with my cousins, battling it out. At that point, probably 3 or 4 inches smaller, 100 pounds lighter. But I mean, that's hockey.
Yeah.
You know, it's not paychecks and bus rides. It's the ponds and so you gotta stay rooted in just that pure love of the game, I think.
It's good.
What would you say is the competitive edge for you versus maybe someone else who had talent, had drive, but they didn't quite make it? Sometimes it seems like it's not always the guy who you think is going to make it. It's the guy who it feels like they get a break, or it feels like they're in the right place at the right time.
Because I played with some unbelievable players, especially my Red Deer midget AAA teams. Only one other player went on to play pro, and he's done now. I mean, there's certainly a good deal of circumstance and luck that certainly plays, timing, that sort of deal. But there is also a grit factor, a resilience factor, and I hate to like put myself in the shoes of somebody else that didn't make it and say that it was because they didn't want it enough. Because I don't think that's necessarily true. But my drive and desire and what I sacrificed along the way, I mean, I've said a couple of times to other people that are sort of, you know, younger than me, trying to embark down the same way. It's like, are you sure? You know, because it's not all
Right.
It's not all peaches, rainbows. You know, like I've spent many a day away from my family, important events that you have to miss. There's a great deal of sacrifice. There's a great deal of mental turmoil that I had to endure. It's not that those other guys wouldn't have done that, I don't think, but yeah, certainly resilience and grit is just that stick it outiveness.
Right.
And yeah, just always pulling up your bootstraps and things look bleak. I think you just got to find something to keep you going. So
Good. I think one of my final questions that I think everybody wants to know is, how many fake teeth do you have?
Just these two. And it actually made my smile better.
Nice.
Yeah, because I used to have a big gap between my teeth.
They could tighten it up.
Yeah. You'll like this. So, I mean, I know you don't know the term cross-check.
No.
So you take your hockey stick, and I don't even know what other kind of violent form ever used. It's like purely a hockey and lacrosse thing. I was just skating back to the bench, minding my own business, and this guy just came with his stick, and it was straight to the teeth.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Front two teeth.
Yeah, front two teeth. I was lucky it wasn't more, to be honest, but that's the way it goes.
Did you stop playing in that?
I actually thankfully had a mouth guard in, which I don't use. So that I pulled that out, and it was full of blood and the two teeth in the mouth guard. And I just handed it to the trainer, and thankfully, like, it was just like kind of a cut in my top lip. It wasn't pouring.
Yeah.
And right back out there.
It's unbelievable. It just is.
Playoff hockey, Okotoks Oilers. Yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, you have anything else you want to add? Any? Maybe let's end with this. Yeah, like your final piece of advice that you would give to someone who is saying, "I want to be an elite athlete, no matter what the sport is." What would you tell them they need to do?
Enjoy it. Embrace the relationships that the people that you're going to meet along the way. That's one of the huge things that really keeps me going. Every year comes with a new team, and new teammates, new relationships to make. I love the people that you meet along the way, and then those relations they keep on going. I just was able to go to a wedding at a friend of mine that I met at Ohio State. I mean, he's going to be one of my best friends for life, and I can say that about at least one or two guys on every team that I've ever played for. And those relationships drive you. You never know where they'll take you later on in life. Hockey's going to end, but you're going to have that bond with a lot of people, and I suppose just have as much fun with it and treat everyone properly along the way. You never know when you're meeting your next best buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Okay. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
being on here with us.
Yeah.
My name is Heather Arthur. I am the office manager here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Just wanted to give you a little bit of background of myself and where I originally came from. I came from a small town right outside of Boston, Massachusetts, where I worked as a practice manager for 6 years at one of the leading top hospitals for the state. I worked in the orthopedic department, managed multiple different surgeons and PAs, along with staff. We actually ended up relocating down here due to my husband's job, and we enrolled the boys in schools, and we are absolutely loving it. That brings me to why I decided to join Columbia Family Chiropractic. I, over the years, have developed a passion for healthcare and improving the wellness and well-being of all patients, all different ages, shapes, sizes, you name it. I look forward to my job each and every day to make a positive impact on one's experience. During my time as being a practice manager, just for orthopedics, but also bringing my talents here, I want to develop a well-oiled machine, as if you would. Want to be sure that our patients get the experience that they deserve, they get the attention that we focus on, and to provide the utmost customer service, understand that we are all about helping them and making sure that they understand the importance of life and just getting them on a better path. With all that being said, my staff, I really look to highly train in all the HIPAA, patient confidentiality, all of the budgets, staying within the budgets. We want to make sure that everybody here is on the same page, communication, you name it. I want to be a part of it, and I want to help us grow. Just not myself, but our patients and what we care about the most. So as a result of everything that I just mentioned, I want to make sure that each and every one of you have a memorable experience here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. And if there's anything that I can do for you on the back end, I am giving you my 110% attention. Thank you.